Hey everybody, what's good? What's good? I hope everybody is doing great. Um, I hope that this coronavirus thing and all the chaos that's going on in the world, especially with protests, rioting, and just all the havoc that's going on as of right now is not hindering y'all from y'all's peace of mind. I hope y'all are still having a chance to pray to the Most High and pray for that of course peace of mind, of course physical peace, physical well being. I look forward to seeing my church family again. And also, before I start, I would like to say that my experience at FBC Garland has been a huge blessing and an immense journey that I will cherish for the rest of my life. Throughout my years of attendance, I have experienced all sorts of characters. I humbly would like to thank everyone who has made my church experience both eye-opening and insightful. I will carry along with me the righteous image of this establishment and the lessons that I learned from it everywhere I go, whether good or bad. Me being myself, Jason Tatang, I've always been a curious and questioning person. In times of distress, I would always resort to the Most High for guidance or help through His Word or by prayer. I can say that this country has been a huge influence on my faith. At one point in my life, I found myself in confusion with the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. I started to question myself and people of churches all over the world. I started to see religion as a scheme for control and money amongst people that were, of course, created by the Most High. I'm not perfect, but I would see all different types of people praying in church for forgiveness, and they would still turn around and commit the same crime that they prayed for. So at times I would even see it as if it was a joke. So my family has always been Christian, but I did some research and I began to discover how religion was used for control over multiple African countries, and it changed my perspective. Me basing my whole life on these beliefs, I always wanted to make sure that I was completely and 100% right. I always looked up, to the best of my ability, I tried to look up the origins and how it changed for the benefit of man, and of course, not always the Most High. John chapter 14, verse 15, if you love me, you will follow my commandments. With everything going on in the world, from COVID-19 to racial injustice, killing and protests in the streets, World War III threats, earlier this year, even before spring break, and what some people will call a phony for a president, it seems like the whole world is paying for the sins that have been committed from now and the past. We can't forget that it's not always a ground level problem. Some people may even have generational curses from the Most High due to the wrongful actions of their ancestors. So you may never know. We can't forget that people can, never mind. Actually, Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 9 states, "Thou shalt not bow down unto them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children of the third and fourth generation of them that hate me." With that being said, I can confirm through research that a certain stock of people, more than others, have or seem to be cursed. Gastroenterology is my passion, and people always ask me why. Usually they need Google, but I'll save you the search. It's a branch of medicine and treatment focused on the digestive system and its disorders. Long story short, I love to eat and I hate stomach aches, and to see others struggle with their guts upsets me, so I want to pursue the highest level of care in that profession. This will be the first year that I've had to return to school, starting with online orientations and assignments to come. I pray that the Most High's will is, to happen and will pass by, whether good or bad. We may not know what the future holds, but if a change is what we seek, stipulation must happen, and we as a people must keep our side of the bargain and grow in the knowledge of truth. Imagine being a black man and coming into consciousness within a land that already puts an X on your back before birth and calls you a minority. In a land that stands for freedom and injustice for all. Justice for all. Imagine asking yourself why it's so hard to gain when you're black in this land. The African Americans of the West Coast and all over the four corners of the earth are the people of Scripture that experience these curses and experience the blessings of Moses. Deuteronomy 33, chapter 1 through 29, and Deuteronomy 27, chapter 11 through 26. When I put 1 and 2 together and concluded that all the wrong ways black people are treated from the history of, slavery, incarceration, the fight for rights and justice, I see it, and it's just like times haven't changed. You may hear this and think I'm some modern day Pharisee, but we all know that originally the Most High's name wasn't Jesus. Of course, times have changed, but in the Hebrew manuscripts, his name originated from Hebrew, which was a language that they spoke back then. In fact, when you look at the characters of the alphabet in the following scripture, Psalms chapter 119, you find the 22 Hebrew letters that make up the language. English has 26, but as times change, characters go, characters come, meanings go, meanings come. And English as A, E, I, O, and U. Long story short, when you take the original Hebrew manuscripts and you use characters from Scripture to translate the Most High's name, using the alphabet, you would get the name Yehoshua.
Yahweh, not Yehoshua. Yehoshua is referring to the name of the Messiah, and Yahweh is the Father.
Kendrick Lamar is a pretty good example of poetic justice, in my opinion. In his last album, Damn, he tells about his life and splits the topics of each song using titles such as love, DNA, and loyalty, and pride, etc. His songs at times are vulgar, but just like every other artist, they use such language to inflict feeling and emphasis on the reader. Altogether, his songs pack a bigger picture and with his perspective, a bigger meaning. One song that stuck out to me was the song titled Fear. In this song, the intro has a sample of a preacher referring to Deuteronomy 28. That whole chapter in specific talks about what happens when people don't fear and obey God. I found it very clear that only one type of people of today, especially mentioned in history, were going through such oppression as well as presently around the world. I'd like to thank all the people that helped me to get this far in success when it comes to school and service. I thank everybody from my parents to various pastors that have come through this church. I would also like to thank Miss Sue, all the elders and deacons, and my fellow youth for giving me the chance to live and grow along with them. I push to make a difference. Kendrick said it best, I'm an Israelite, don't call me black no more. That word is only a color, it ain't facts no more. I'm wishing the best for the youth under me and the well-being of the church as a whole. All the righteous people that attended this church and accepted me along with my family, you are my family as well. Through our works of kindness and service and action, I appreciate y'all. Jason Tatang, out.